The Equalities Watchdog has urged the government to proceed with caution if COVID passports are to be introduced. The Equality and Human Rights Commission says certificates to prove who is vaccinated could help to ease restrictions in principle, but ministers need to be aware of the potential for discrimination. The Commission also raises concerns about proposals to make vaccination a condition of employment for some workers. With us now then is the Managing Director of the Old Vicarage Care Home for people with learning difficulties in Stallingborough. Paul de Savary is on the line now. Good afternoon, Paul.
Good afternoon, Sally.
Tell me what you think then, on the face of it, to COVID passports.
Well, I guess it all goes back to, will people be offered vaccinations or not, and at what stage they're offered vaccinations, and also on the basis, are people working in social care, or should people working in social care have vaccinations? So I guess I come at this slightly differently. I come at this from the perspective that we support very complex individuals, some of whom cannot have vaccinations. It's not possible for them to have it, to tolerate it. So our big issue is around sort of staff. So we're always encouraging staff to have vaccinations. So if you have a vaccination, then obviously a passport, especially if you're going to go abroad, is going to be essential. Internally, in terms of the UK, I don't know is really how you would apply that if you go into a bar or whatever. But we certainly make vaccinations now a condition of taking a job in one of our sort of 11 care homes that we have.
Right. So I was going to say you used the word encouraged earlier on, but it's actually you go further than that, and you make it a condition for being employed by you.
No, we make it a condition if you want to get a job now, but obviously we have existing staff who have not been vaccinated, and we have not said to them you have to have a vaccination. Right. We take a steer from the government on that.
And that would be where you would stop short, I suppose, of essentially dismissing somebody if they say that they can't do it or they don't want to.
Well, I'm not sure that you could dismiss somebody under the existing law, the HR law and employment law. I'm not sure that you would be entitled to do that.
Do you think you should be able to?
Ultimately, yes, in specific situations where, for example, you have an individual who they're supporting who cannot have a vaccination. So therefore, you have to be very careful about who works with that individual. And really, you would only want staff who have had a vaccination to work with that individual. Otherwise, obviously, that individual's at a high risk of catching COVID.
Tell me what the situation is like at the Old Vicarage at the moment, because I know certainly things have changed in terms of who is able to visit in care homes. How have you negotiated those changes?
I would say very successfully. We've been creative about it. We've stayed within the sort of the rules and the regulations, although we have had a problem around some of those rules and regulations because they've been very much sort of related to sort of elder care and as opposed to people with learning disabilities. But we've tended to facilitate these meetings off-site. So we have something called the Social Care Exchange, which is our resource centre. So we've managed to bring an individual there where they can meet their family. All the meetings are scheduled, all the lateral flow tests are taken 30 minutes beforehand. So we run a very, very well-processed program. And we have very understanding families as well, because obviously anybody with a learning disability, sadly, is 30 times more likely to die from COVID. So everybody understands the risks that are involved around this.
But it must have made a huge difference to them. Have you been able to see what kind of difference it's made to those people being able to be together with their families?
Oh, unbelievably so. I mean, my wife saw our daughter. In fact, we can only have one person who can sort of see somebody at a time. But my wife saw our daughter for 1 hour. She's actually in the Old Vicarage, and that was fantastic. My wife felt great. My daughter was over the moon. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's sort of life getting back to normal. You sort of feel there is an end in sight.
Yeah, let's hope so. Thank you very much for speaking to me this afternoon, Paul. Paul de Savary is the MD of the Old Vicarage Home at Stallingborough.